Yo, what is up, you guys? It's K-State here, and welcome to Plugin Hunt number 11, the Halloween edition, because I'm wearing a hat. I never wear this hat, so that makes it a Halloween thing. So we're going to talk about these 4 plugins here, and these 3 plugins here are actually from the same bundle. So in today's video, if you click down below in the links to all these plugins, you'll be able to get like 20 plus plugins this week, because these 3 plugins are from a big bundle from the Melda Productions. So if we look right here, these are all the plugin folders and types of plugins that come included with this. So as you can see, there's like tons and tons of cool plugins in here. So I highly recommend you get that. If you're really lacking or need some new plugins, you should definitely download those. So let's just go ahead and get the kind of the simplest plugin out of the way, which is this text notepad sort of plugin. So what this is really, why I wanted to show this is because I wanted to give you guys some ideas for workflow when you're working with other people or maybe even yourself. So if you like to write notes and things like that, you could just use this plugin inside of your DAW and just write some little notes for yourself to do things later. So like compress later, farts and shit. But what I found is actually much more useful of a thing to use this for is to share notes with someone else. So more often than not, if you have a writing partner or you're sending something to an engineer, you have notes of things you want to do or keep the same or things you want to change. And usually you end up writing these really long paragraph emails of like, you know, at 5 seconds here, after this plugin on this track number 37, do this, do that, or keep it like this or like that. And those emails just become so much it becomes very tedious to go back and forth between long emails like that, when you could just share your session the way it is and have your notes in the places that they need to see it in. So it makes it easy to kind of share notes and ideas with someone else. And other than that, it's just a really simple plugin that lets you adjust font size and some different fonts, and just a cool, simple plugin to share ideas with somebody. So that's why I wanted to show it to you, because it's not often that I get to talk about plugins like that, or uses of plugins that are more important than the actual use of it. So let's talk about the next plugin, which is the Towel Filter 2. So this is kind of a creative enabling type plugin where it's not really like a filter that lets you fix something or anything like that. It's kind of just this weird, wacky modulator. So how it works is you set the timing of it. So X1 represents 4 bars. So this is now like on a 4-bar loop of itself, and it's going to follow this modulation that you make. So you can make all sorts of different patterns for it. You can put some different filter types on it, like low pass, high pass, band pass, and a notch. Or you could put volume and pan on it. So you can do all these kind of crazy things, adjust the depth and reso. So the depth kind of works more like a dry wet here. So if you pull this down, you don't really hear what it's doing too much. And if you pull this up, now you can kind of hear it a lot. So here we adjust the timing of it. So like I said, this would be 4 bars. This would be like 32th. And it's just kind of really interesting. So let's just use something for an example so you get a better idea of what it does. So I'm just going to go ahead and loop these 4 bars on this track. And yeah, let's hear that. So really interesting, you saw all the different types of things you could do. So you can get really nuts with this. This is really just kind of one of those fun sound design type plugins where you just will always make something really unexpected and random. So that's a really cool plugin there. And let's go on to the next plugin, which is a compressor. So I wanted to highlight this particular plugin out of the bundle because, like all the plugins in the bundle, they all are really good at what they do, but they also do some different types of things. So like this one, you see this little waveform type of button. So when you click on that, you actually will see some meters. So for like input, output, and things like that, you can pause that on the peaks. You can put this on another window, so that way you can kind of move this around, put it on another monitor, or do a full screen mode of that. And if you click here, you can see the waveform view of that. So that's really cool for when you're compressing, because you get to see what's happening to your waveform, which other compressors do, but this one kind of gives you a much more detailed waveform view of it. And you can also have this on a different window and things like that, or full screen. I think it's just really cool to, especially if you're learning how to compress, to see what it's doing. So what you hear and see becomes part of your learning experience of compressing. So if I just play something real fast, you'll see what that kind of looks like on the waveform. So you kind of saw what we did there with the compressor. So now moving on to the scope, the M Stereoscope. This is actually really important to mention these kind of plugins because these kind of plugins get overlooked a lot, but are really important to mixing and mastering processes at least, because you need to know what you're doing on the sides and the mid, and know when you're inverting if you don't hear it, which means phasing and canceling sides out and things like that. It's really important to know when you're doing those things. So this is a really good plugin for that. And you see we also have left, right, mid, side sort of thing. So if you want to listen to just one of those or something like that, you can do that. So we're going to put it on default. And we're going to use a plugin we've talked about before called the A1 Stereo Control. So this is kind of like an imager type plugin. And what we're going to do here is put this in mono. We're going to put it in really wide. We're going to mute the mid to kind of get like the sides to cancel each other out. And so that way you can kind of see what all that stuff looks like on a stereoscope like this. And let's just go ahead and do that. So as you saw what mono looked like, it was just a straight line, and when we muted other things, you could see what those look like. So you saw when we muted the mid, we had just the sides left, and the sides cancel each other out. So it was really important to understand what that sounds like, and also what that looks like in terms of what it looks like on the scope, and when the width is telling us that we're getting some inversion and things like that. So as you saw, I just aligned the phase just by a click of a button, and the sides kind of collapsed on itself and just kind of went into some sort of mono. So it's kind of interesting how that works, and it's important to understand that, and also to look at those kind of things when you're in the mixing and mastering stages. So just wanted to share that with you because I think that's super important to have. There's so many plugins in that bundle I could have talked about, but I chose the ones I did just because I wanted to give you some ideas of how to use those. So hopefully you guys like all the plugins we talked about. Really download that bundle and the towel filter too, because that's like 20 plus plugins. So not bad for another edition of Plugin Hunt to give you a lot of plugins this week. So thanks guys for watching, and of course, late and happy Halloween as well if you celebrate that, or if you're watching this way later, then go fuck yourself. So of course I'm just kidding, but it was really funny. So thanks guys for watching, and of course, late.